So the flip spazzed out a little bit after I added the tomatoes, and so I had to continue on without being able to film it. But I'm going to recap it and show you a little bit of what I've done in retrospect. So to the chicken stock pot, I added 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of fresh cracked pepper, 3 capfuls of a poultry grinder that I got from the Fresh Market, and it just has a mix of coriander seeds and here it is, and these are all the ingredients. And so I added 3 cupfuls of the poultry grinder, and then I also added some fresh herbs. I added thyme, rosemary, some fresh bay leaves, and some parsley. I also then added 30 4-ounce portions of chicken. This is a really big pot, and so they all fit. And then I added a gallon, almost a full gallon of purified water that I bought at the store, because on HCG they advise you not to use tap water because it has additives in it. And so I used a gallon of purified water and poured it over the top. I brought it all to a bubble, and then I let it simmer for 3 hours. Afterwards, I took out the chicken and put it in a container to chill in the fridge, and then I strained the rest of the stock, and I just kept the stock, and I put half of the stock into my chili, and then I put the other half in a bowl to cool in the fridge. To the chili pot, I added 3 tablespoons of Mexican chili powder, 1 tablespoon of roasted cumin, and I found this at Walmart. It's a really cool spice. I added 1 tablespoon of roasted coriander, 1 tablespoon of an organic taco seasoning mix that doesn't have any MSG in it, and 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and 1 to 2 teaspoons, depending upon your taste, of organic red pepper flakes. I also added a few shots of this garlic chili hot sauce that I found on the Mexican food aisle, and it doesn't have any sugar in it. And then I also I also added some of the roasted garlic that I cooked earlier. I added about a half a clove of that roasted garlic. Or a half of a, not a half a clove, but a half of a bulb of roasted garlic. And then I let that simmer for about 2 hours, and then after the chicken stock was done and I strained that off, I added a half a gallon of the stock, so about half the batch of chicken stock once it was strained out. And I let it simmer for another 30 minutes, and then I took it off the heat to let it cool. And tomorrow I'm going to probably send it through a food mill. I'm thinking about going and buying one tomorrow, and so I'm probably going to send it through a food mill to get some of the seeds out, but still keep some of the thickness of it. And then I'll be able to add my chicken. To the tomato sauce, I added 3 capfuls of this Italian seasoning grinder, and this is my favorite thing to use to make anything taste Italian. It just has some dried herbs and spices in it, and everything's okay for HCG. So I added 3 capfuls of that, some fresh basil leaves, some fresh thyme, fresh rosemary, fresh bay leaf, 2 tablespoons of salt, 1/4 of a cup of red wine, and you can omit this if you really want to. I think it adds enough of a depth of flavor without adding too many calories to the dish, and the alcohol is going to cook out. So I did this on the first round of HCG when I made tomato sauce too, and we still did just fine losing. We never stalled because of this, so I'm going to still use it here. I also added 2 tablespoons of tomato paste that I got at the gourmet shop today, and the only ingredients in the tomato paste was tomatoes and salt, so it just also adds a richness and a depth of flavor to the sauce. I also added about a whole thing of the roasted garlic that we made earlier, a whole bulb, and then 1 cup of purified water. And this has been on the stove for a long time, and I'm probably going to let it go for a full 8 hours because that's what it takes to get the sauce to develop all that yummy flavor. Because right now it's still a little acidic because we used fresh tomatoes, but after 8 hours it'll take some of that acidity out.